It was a bright morning on the Arabian Sea. The massive cargo ship Ocean Star sailed smoothly across the calm blue waters. Stretching nearly 400 meters long, the ship was one of the largest in the world, carrying over 1,000 brand new luxury cars from Japan to Dubai. Each car, polished and shining, rested in perfect rows deep within the steel belly of the ship. Captain Harris stood on the bridge, sipping his coffee as the sea breeze brushed his face. Everything seemed peaceful. The crew moved about their duties, checking engine readings, inspecting cargo locks, and maintaining radio contact with the control tower. Nothing appeared out of place. But deep inside the ship, hidden behind layers of metal and machinery, something sinister was brewing. A small section near the lower deck, where fuel pipes and electric systems ran close together, had developed a minor leak the day before. The engineers thought it was harmless and marked it for repair at the next port. None of them knew that a few drops of leaked fuel had slowly spread near an electrical junction box. By afternoon, the sun burned fiercely overhead. The ship's temperature rose, and the steel decks became hot enough to fry an egg. Inside the engine room, the hum of turbines echoed like the growl of a giant. Crewman Malik noticed a faint smell of gasoline but dismissed it as normal. The Ocean Star continued its journey, slicing through the waves with confidence, unaware of its approaching doom. At exactly 3:42 p.m., a tiny spark flickered inside the junction box. It was so small that it barely glowed for a second, but it was enough. The fumes caught fire instantly. Within moments, flames shot through the lower cargo bay. "Fire! Fire in Deck 3!" shouted Malik into the radio, panic in his voice. Alarms blared across the ship. Red lights flashed, and the once peaceful crew sprang into action. Captain Harris ordered, "Seal Deck 3. Activate the sprinklers." But it was already too late. The fire spread faster than anyone could imagine. The cars, filled with gasoline and sealed in metal containers, became ticking bombs. One by one, their fuel tanks began to heat up. Then came the first explosion. Boom! The sound ripped through the ship like thunder. A column of black smoke burst from the center of the vessel, followed by another explosion, louder, more violent. Metal twisted. Cars were thrown like toys, smashing into one another, their alarms screaming in chaos. "Abandon ship!" yelled the captain as flames reached the upper deck. The crew rushed to release the lifeboats. Some jumped directly into the sea, coughing from the thick smoke that filled the air. The sky turned dark with fire and ash. The Ocean Star groaned as if the sea itself were tearing it apart. Windows shattered. Flames danced across the decks, licking at the cranes and containers. The ocean around the ship glowed orange with reflection. Below, inside the cargo hold, rows upon rows of luxury cars, BMWs, Ferraris, Toyotas, melted into twisted heaps of metal. The heat was unbearable. Tires exploded, fuel tanks burst, and entire vehicles slid across the tilting floor as the ship began to list to one side. "Mayday! Mayday! This is Ocean Star. We are on fire and sinking." Captain Harris transmitted the distress signal, his voice trembling. The nearest rescue vessel was still hours away. As the fire devoured everything in its path, the ship's hull cracked. Seawater began to flood in through a massive breach near the stern. The Ocean Star tilted sharply, 20 degrees, then 30, then more. Crewmen clung to railings, praying for their lives. Then came the final blast. A chain reaction of car explosions rocked the entire ship. The deck split open, and hundreds of cars broke free, tumbling into the sea. One after another, they plunged beneath the waves, silver, red, black, vanishing into the deep like falling stars. Within minutes, the once mighty Ocean Star began to sink. Its towering bridge dipped below the surface, and the sea swallowed the roaring fire with a violent hiss. Steam rose, mingling with smoke, until only debris and oil floated on the surface. The surviving crew watched helplessly from their lifeboats as their ship, and the million-dollar cargo, disappeared beneath the ocean. Silence followed, broken only by the gentle slosh of waves and the crackle of cooling metal. Captain Harris, drenched and exhausted, whispered, "It's gone, everything's gone." Hours later, rescue ships arrived. They pulled the survivors aboard and searched the area, but there was nothing left except floating wreckage and a slick of burning oil. The sea, once calm and beautiful, had turned into a graveyard of machines. Days later, divers explored the wreck. Deep down, lying silently on the ocean floor, were hundreds of cars, perfectly aligned as if still waiting to be delivered. Sunlight filtered through the water, touching the shattered hull of the Ocean Star. The tragedy became world news. Investigators confirmed that a small electrical fault had caused the explosion, A mistake so small, yet powerful enough to destroy a giant. And so, the ocean star became a legend, a reminder of how fragile even the strongest creations of man can be when nature and fate decide otherwise. Beneath the waves, the cars still rest in eternal silence, a ghostly fleet in the deep blue sea. Ship collision.